Representative Newell, House Bill 41.
Good morning.
Good morning. On your bill.
Are we reading it in, or you just
No,
want me
we
to start
don't.
talking?
We state the House bill number, House Bill 41. That's the
Okay.
bill, right?
That is the bill. Thank you very much. And members, Mr. Chairman and members, I know you've heard bills similar to this one. However, I've constructed mine a little bit differently. After speaking to several of the members on the committee, I tried to work and do what we like to refer to as a compromise legislation. Hair discrimination exists when we have grooming policies that have an unequal effect on people who have specific hair types. Specifically, people who have textured hair that has not been straightened with heat or chemically processed with a relaxer. What I've noticed is hair discrimination is rooted in the belief that straight hair is ultimately cleaner, neater, or more professional, while it's opposite for hair that is textured. This type of hair discrimination could also affect people who have had cancer and the hair has fallen out and it regrows in a texture that was different than what it was before they went through the treatment. And patients do decide not to use chemicals on their hair because of the interaction it might have with the medications that they're taking, or not wanting to use the heat because the heat can damage the newly grown hair. Currently, there aren't really any laws that specifically protect people from hair discrimination. There have been several lawsuits filed because of hair discrimination, but we know just because you file a lawsuit doesn't necessarily mean there's an actual cause of action. People file lawsuits all the time and then they're dismissed with a motion for summary judgment and because of no real cause of action. Federal courts do accept that Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 does prohibit discrimination based on race. We do have some legislators who have believed that the legislation is unnecessary and duplicative. However, courts misinterpreting this law by narrowly interpreting the meaning of race to only immutable characteristics. And it's only protecting the Afro hairstyle. And as I say, courts have mistakenly, narrowly interpreted this law. And so then we get courts that have conflicting rulings on cases that come before them. For example, the U.S. Court of Appeals of the Seventh Circuit ruled that the workplace discrimination on the basis of an employee's Afro hairstyle constitutes unlawful race discrimination under Title VII. However, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit ruled that discrimination based on an employee's dreadlocks did not constitute unlawful racial discrimination. Therefore, one employee could or could not have...
I'm sorry, Representative Newell. I don't know if you realize we're under a 3-minute rule, and I think
you didn't... I'm sorry, I didn't know I wasn't
sure,
here. I came in, I'm sorry.
And I'm going to go ahead and allow you to wrap up, because I also know you wanted a presentation, that a video that you would like to present.
I just wanted to show the hairstyles that, because everyone doesn't know what these protective styles look like.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure I showed that.
All right, and
That's okay.
I've already reviewed it,
Okay,
so that
thank
it's
you.
the one without the audio, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I
Thank
didn't
you.
need a whole screen production for this. Oh, and I'm sorry. I do have a substitute bill,
Yeah.
and that is reflective of the changes that were made after talking with my colleagues.
Okay, let's go ahead and review the video presentation.
Is this correct here?
No,
Before and after colon?
go with the. Is that mine?
Is it this?
No. Oh no.
Yeah, well,
What about that one?
no, that's not. That's it last week. This is all I'm getting. So jump.
Previous, I just wanted to give the committee an idea of what these protective hairstyles look like, just so there wasn't any confusion. That's all it was. It showed examples of afros, dreadlocks, twists, locks, braids, cornrows, bantu knots, and natural curls. What's different with the substitute bill is that several of the Crown Act bills have shown have linked historically related to race. I didn't want to add into the definition of race. I wanted to add into the definition of discrimination, because what I have noticed and what I've heard through testimony in other committees is it's not just African Americans who are suffering, who are being victim of hair discrimination. In the area that I represent, I have several white gentlemen who have beautiful dreadlocks, and I believe that they should be protected just as an African American man or woman who has dreadlocks. I've witnessed women white women who have wearing their hair in the individual braids just like I am, and I believe we all should be protected on our jobs and not be fearful of losing our jobs or not getting hired because of the way we choose to style the hair. And again, natural hair is hair that has not been chemically processed or straightened with heat. Protective styles are heat free, and they keep the ends of the hair tucked away and to minimize the manipulation of the hair. Here in Louisiana, we have a lot of humidity and heat. That humidity and heat can cause damage to the hair and cause it to become brittle and damaged. So that is the difference between natural hair and protective hairstyles. My natural hair is in a protective style right now. So you can have them both, or you can have them separate. Anyone have any questions? If not, I do have a gentleman here that can go on and discuss further any issues, concerns
Okay.
the committee may have.
Now let's talk about your proposed amendment, which is in the form of a substitute bill. So, Ms. Pirtle.
Members of the committee, this is Amendment Set 4401, which is the content of the substitute bill. You've also been given a document that is what the substitute bill would look like if passed. This rewrites HB 41 to prohibit natural, protective, or cultural hairstyle discrimination in education, employment, public accommodations, and housing options. It also defines natural, protective, or cultural hairstyle.
Thank you, Mr. Pirtle. Now, Ms. Representative Newell, you're adding to what we currently have in law that you cannot discriminate based on race, creed, color, disability, as defined in law, or national origin. And now we're going to prohibit discrimination based on natural, protective, or cultural hairstyle as defined in the bill, which shall include but not limited to afros, dreadlocks, twists, locks, braids, cornrow braids, bantu knots, curls, and hairstyle to protect hair texture or for cultural significance.
That second part that you read is just the description, a definition of what natural and protective styles mean, just so there's no confusion or room to eliminate or add.
Okay. I will go ahead. Any questions on that amendment? I'm going to go ahead and move that we adopt the substitute for House Bill number 41.
And I'd like to thank Ms. Purtle for all her help with drafting this,
Thank
the
you.
original bill and this amendment.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the adoption of that, Representative Jenkins? I know you're not objecting.
No, absolutely not.
I know.
I have a question for the
Okay.
bill. Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and get that amendment on. Any objections? Seeing none, the substitute bill is adopted. Okay, Representative Jenkins.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Representative, for bringing the bill.
Thank you.
I think it's a good bill, and the manner in which you have added or extended, the hairstyles to the existing anti-discrimination laws that we have. I know we've heard a similar bill, but I think this is a different approach and an
Yes.
appropriate approach. There's no good or bad discrimination. All of it is bad.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that we are covering every base that we can. I said when we heard a similar bill, you can't simply just tie the hairstyle directly to the color of the skin, because
Right.
there are people with different pigmentation in the color of their skin, but the texture of their hair may be something different, and that could raise some issues. So I thank you for the way that you've gone about this and the way that you presented it.
Thank you.
At the appropriate time, when that comes, Mr. Chairman, I would move. Is it favorable or amended with this?
You would move to report it by substitute.
By substitute. I would move to report it by substitute.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Newell, I'm looking at your substitute, and it says, when you define natural, protective, and cultural hairstyle, it says it shall include but is not limited to. So you include the ones that are here, but you're not limiting to it there. So what else out there? What are we going to be including that's not defined here? Because you said you want to define it, but you also leave it open to add whatever else, I guess, other styles that may be out there that aren't listed. So my question is, what is going to not be included versus what is included?
I can take but is not limited to, if that'll help you vote for the bill. I could take that
Well,
out.
I don't know what's going to help me vote for it. I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to accomplish, because when anytime, and I think you know this, anytime when you say include but not limited to, means these things that are here plus anything else that might be included. So I don't know what else might be included. So we may be voting for something that that could include a lot of other things that we don't even know about yet.
And like I said, I'm more than willing to take that part out if that makes you comfortable. I don't know what other protective styles could come about. We're always developing. But like I said, I can take not limited to out.
And I may want to say that, and I want to say this because we have had other bills. In fact, we had a bill in labor, and your bill has a few more different styles than that bill had. So one bill had two or three name styles. You have 4 or 5 name styles. So again, even between authors of the same similar types of bills, y'all not even in agreement on what is and what is not to be protected.
Well, we're not in agreement because the bills are different. Because like I said, I did not want to extend or tie hair to race, because example with the conversation you and I have had we had one this morning and we had it before, and we know that across all of our races we have people who have textured hair. It can be straight and coarse, it can be fine and curly, and it's not limited to one race. So I took that part out. I took hairstyles that are traditionally related to. I took that out. Not to expand race, but to make it separate, that hairstyles can be discriminated against. This does not cover hair color. Because I had a nice conversation with Rep. Seaball about not wanting people to come in with blue, purple, or green hair. This does not allow that.
All right, let's wrap
But you
it
do
up
have curls.
on the response. We're 3 minutes for each member to ask and answer, so,
Again, I'm sorry.
all right.
Sorry, Representative, I only have 3 minutes, so
I'm sorry.
unfortunately, we can't keep going. But thank you for
Maybe
answering my
can,
question.
Come back with
All
a
right.
bit more.
Thank you. Representative Boyd.
Good morning, Rep.
Good morning.
I love your bill.
Thank
I
you.
think in conjunction to what you were just saying, that we need to keep focus on that this is basically combed hair, and the way someone with textured hair would be able to comb their hair versus someone with straight hair would be able to comb their hair. It's just basically combed hair, whether it's combed in the form of braiding or locks or dreads. If you have straight hair, you might cut it in a bob. It's combed. Nonetheless, I think we should just focus on the fact that this is combed hair, correct?
Yes, the hairstyles.
Thank you,
Yes.
Rep. I think it's a great bill.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Representative Boyd. And just clarify, you list the hairstyles.
Yes.
Okay, which shall include but not limited to, but you also include an hairstyle to protect hair texture or cultural significance, which I read as hairstyle for cultural significance. Correct? All right.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. I think the board is clear. I know we have a lot of people that want to speak on the bill.
And right now, to my right, I have Mr. Tatum Newell, who can speak a lot to the significance and the importance of needing this added legislation.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Mr. Neal.
Thank you. My name is Tatum Newell. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to speak, and for everyone here. I work for a family business called Newell Corporation. Unfortunately, Mr. Muscarella stepped out. I'm in his district in Hammond, Louisiana. We're one of the largest employers in the parish and in the city. I think we're second to the hospitals. And I have, this is a third generation family business. My grandfather started it in the 40s. My dad took over, and I'm currently one of the 7 siblings in leadership position now after my dad passed away in 2003. I'm a hairdresser. I'm also, I have a policy degree from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So one might say that I'm uniquely qualified to speak in front of you today. But I wanted to give a little bit of perspective of the undue burden that this legislation would alleviate for the citizens of Louisiana. I actually prepared some slides. I didn't make it up here, but there was a funny sort of BuzzFeed article and meme that came out a year ago about first day of school. Maybe it was a couple of years ago. And it showed a collection of different students in kindergarten, I believe. And before school, they looked amazing, in uniform, hair perfect. And then after school, they were completely disheveled and just a mess. And most of the students in this article were white, and there was one African American girl, and her hair was just as disheveled as everyone else's. But the difference here, and this is my point, is that the labor it takes to fix a child's hair that's straight simply involves a bath or a shower. Unfortunately, for someone that has highly textured hair, and again, that, as Representative Newell pointed out, is not exclusive to women of color, is quite labor intensive. That girl would have to undergo at least an hour of styling from her mom, and not to pass judgment, but if she had a dad around and he wasn't great at doing her hair, she would have to bring her to one of my salons. And at the low end of the spectrum, to fix her hair would cost at least $40. And if she saw me or some of our more established hairdressers, it might cost up to $100 for her to fix her hair. And then she goes to school again. And does she survive the day? As the representative pointed out, we're in the swamp, and humidity affects the hair. So every day this girl would have to undergo an hour of service at home, and then her mom would have to do the same thing. So we're talking at least an hour to 2 hours a day of fixing your hair before you can go in at work. And it is more than just people of color. I worked in Baton Rouge in New Orleans, and I trained in New York, and I got to see a wide variety of hairstyles. And almost every single woman that I encountered with curly hair spoke about a type of hair discrimination, that she had to fix her hair straight so that her employers would deem her valuable and credible in a place of business. In fact, my neighbor, a white woman,
Please wrap it up. Okay.
a white woman also goes to my salon and spends hundreds of dollars on chemical services so that she can be in her law firm and be taken with the same sort of credibility as her counterparts who have straight hair. So this bill is necessary because people are discriminated by their hair texture. It happens every single day. And I think this committee is unique in the amount of curly hair that I'm seeing. You will not see this much curly hair on the board of directors of most companies. It is something that women face every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Technically, you could be discriminated against for lack of hair under the law, or comb over, I might add.
All right, let's hear from a few others. We have, let's make room for some people who would like to speak in support. Chelsea Evankow from Tulane School of Public Health, Tropical Medicine, and also Jay Shy from Citizens She United, who is president, would like to speak. Tyler Sanchez from Citizens She United. If y'all would come to the table and remind you we're in the 3-minute rule. So let's go ahead with Ms. Evankow. Did I pronounce it?
Evanko.
Evankow, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Good morning, and just introduce yourself.
Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Chelsea Evanko. I am a master's student at Tulane, getting a degree in international public health. I am also a returned Peace Corps volunteer where I served in Zambia for 2.5 years as a health educator. My work as a public health professional in Louisiana predominantly involves working with the Black community. I'm here in support of young men and women who I work with who deserve a bright future in Louisiana, a future which does not involve discrimination at school and the workplace. Black hair has been unjustly politicized everywhere, from offices to classrooms for decades. The Crown Act would help to eliminate discrimination in Louisiana. Natural black hair is beautiful and is expressed in many ways, which has been represented today. I'm speaking to my white counterparts today. We will never experience discrimination against our hair like the way that our Black community does. We won't necessarily be denied a job or turned away from school for having a hairstyle which is deemed inappropriate or unprofessional. We will not experience unequal treatment based on our hairstyle. But Black people have been, are today, and will continue to without our comprehensive support. It is not just about hair. This isn't necessarily just a cosmetic issue. It is about cultural identity and bodily autonomy. It is about economic justice and public health. The environment currently in place continues to perpetuate inequalities that serve to harm and deny equal opportunities to Black Louisianans. I urge you to vote in support of this bill.
Thank you. All right, we got Tyler Sanchez.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Tyler Sanchez and I'm currently employed by Citizens She United. Today I came to speak in support of this bill just on behalf of so many members of my family and my community. As we all know, for the many Black people and people with textured hair sitting around, the first thing on our mind when we wake up is our hair presentable? How are we going to be perceived in our places of work and at our educational institutions? And really just a toll that takes on our mental health and economically. As one of the individuals said earlier, there's a large cost associated with maintaining our hair on a week-by-week basis and making sure it's always perfect and presentable in the eyes of our colleagues and peers around wherever many places we may go. So I please urge all of you to vote in favor of this bill.
Thank you. And Ms. Jay Shy?
Yes. My name is Jay Shy. I'm with Citizenship United. I'm a student at Loyola studying sociology. And I urge you all to support this bill because it's very simple. Our hair is as it grows, and it's something that it naturally grows this way and present ourselves this way. And it's a hardship on many that starts early on, even when you go to kindergarten, young children having to adhere to dress codes that restricts children from having their hair in natural puffs, or you have locks and twists and braids and things of that nature. And really, it just really disadvantages all as a whole. And those with textured hair is just who we naturally are. And I think that we should all support this bill so that everyone can be who they are.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Let's make room for some additional witnesses. We'll call up Nick Wheats from Citizenship United, Caitlin Joshua representing herself, and Charles Barjan II. And Ms. Joshua?
She's on her way here.
Oh, okay. All right, you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning now. My name is Nia Weeks. I'm the founder and executive director of Citizenship United.
I'm sorry, I thought it was Nick. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. It's no
Thank you.
worries.
Morning.
No worries at all. Good morning. So I am a native Louisianian, and I will say I have loved this state since birth. My grandmother is from Washington Parish. My other grandmother is from New Roads, Louisiana. Both of them are educators, own property in both of those areas. And so I've got family and blood in that soil. My mom is buried in New Orleans, Louisiana, and she was an educator as well. I was gone for a while. Please don't take it against me. I was gone for both weekends of Jazz Fest out of the state. But what I watched was something that we uniquely have in this state. And we have moments of pause that allow us to come together, regardless of, whatever history and space we have, where we have these moments of pause where we eat the same food, dance the same beat, and love each other unapologetically. A Jazz Fest when the Saints win, Ida. We get these spaces that no other place in the world has, and I find a lot of pride when I'm outside of this state, that this is the true representation of the people and the communities in the state that I love. But it was hard this year because I knew that I would have to come here today and have this discussion. Last year I brought my daughter. This year I did not bring my daughter and it was a taxing decision to not bring her because she wanted to be here because she felt that she was not believed last year. She felt that her humanity, when she put her humanity on display for the committee and the House, that it was not believed or cared for. And I did not want to bring her and make a decision as to whether or not she's going to take her test today or testify about her humanity today. So I chose to let her take her test. But the reality is that she's watching. And, there are women and girls, women across this state. All of us have a hair story. We all worry about our hair. But there's a unique space for black girls and black women when we consider our hair, because our consideration is not just tied to beauty. It's tied to whether or not we're going to be sent home from work or sent home from school or allowed to graduate. And this state needs all of us to be successful for this state to survive. And we all show up, these women showing up for retirement from work, their babies here showing up because we want to participate in this state. We want to participate in this country fully. And it's silly that we have to consider our hair in order to fully participate in this country, in this state, to bring money and resources to educate these babies. We have to consider hair as part of our desire to love this state.
Please wrap it up. Sorry.
My hope and my prayer is that when I go home to my daughter that was here last year, that we get to celebrate us moving into an era that's beyond what we've been through and beyond what we know, but celebrating where we are and who we truly want to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Joshua?
Yes, Caitlin Joshua. I work for the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice, but I'm here today in support of HB 41 for a host of reasons. Not with my current employer, but past employers that I've had, whether working for doctor's offices or law firms. I've experienced discrimination as a woman of color. The reactions that I got or the daily assignment that I received for the day was based off of how I looked that day. And so as you can tell, my hair today, I've straightened it. The days that I wear it curly, it's a little bit different in terms of the environment that I have at work. And so I think bills like this are beneficial to women of color, children of color, folks that are wanting to participate in civic engagement, participate in the workplace fully as themselves. And the workplace protections really do allow for us to be able to not only just feel comfortable, but also feel appreciated in our workplace. Additionally, I feel like HB 41 is a step in the right direction because it does, as she stated, celebrate this idea that women of color who are wearing our hair how we choose to, whether in our workplace or in our daily lives, not at work, or trying to show our children that this is very important for us to understand that we should enjoy how we show up and we should be able to just enjoy our everyday lives as women of color. And so I think HB 41 is important for us to vote in favor of, and I would like to suggest that the committee considers that. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Mr. Charles Barjan?
Barjan, that's right.
Okay.
Good morning.
All right,
I'm Charles
good morning.
Barjan. I am a legislative intern with Sierra Club Delta Chapter and a recent graduate of Southern University. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't know this bill was up today, actually, but when I heard of it, I got to work on my green card because I, for a long time, had dreadlocks. And as a matter of fact, last year, I was still an intern in this wonderful building with my dreadlocks. And I can notice a difference in how I'm received. Now I'm very successful in my lobbying. You know, I look more uniform, and as a black man, to give you a different perspective, when we grow our hair in an afro, or we choose to grow dreadlocks or cornrows, we are seen as thugs or violent. But if we cut our hair and we comb it straight, we're seen as professional, and that's the issue. I come from California, where the Crown Act is passed, and I can attest to that. It provides ease in the workplace, and don't take this, my growing up in California, as a slight to my passion for Louisiana, because my family, the Barjan family, has been here since 1813. So I can say that Louisiana is gumbo, full of cultures, full of people, and we have to respect this gumbo that we love. All these peoples and cultures, societies have different hairstyles, different ways of expressing themselves, and we have to honor that if we're truly going to be who we are as a diverse state. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. All right, let's go ahead and pull up. We've got two more, Kelly Couture and Amy Marciaca. All right, and good morning.
Yeah, okay, sure. Chairman Miller, members, my name is Amy Mercheka, and I'm here in
Mercheka, okay. I didn't get it
yeah.
close.
Sometimes hey you works, but
I was told hay is for horses.
I am here in support of HB 41. I'm originally from Shreveport. I currently live in New Orleans. And when I have friends of mine outside of the state ask me, you know, what's so great about living in Louisiana, one of the things that I tell them is that I like living in a place where not everyone looks like me. Throughout my life, difference has been a great teacher. And I believe it's embracing differences that has really helped shape the unique culture that we have in this state. One of the ways that racial and cultural differences manifest themselves is with regards to hair. As a white woman, finding my hair products or getting my hair cut is not an issue, regardless of where I am in the state. For my black coworkers, friends, and acquaintances, it's not so easy. I highlight this as an example because this is a condition that wasn't always obvious to me. When certain conditions don't affect you directly, it can become easy to assume that no problem exists or that the impact is insignificant. Representative Newell highlighted this, that hair discrimination is a problem last year and is back again this year to highlight that it's still a problem and the current protections that we have in place simply aren't enough. I believe in and support the need to be explicit and comprehensive in our anti-discrimination measures, right down to hair, for those people who are not aware of the differences so that they can understand them better, and because so many things aren't so obvious to all of us. I urge you to embrace the unique differences that we have in this state with regards to race, be clear about what they are, and protect and respect Black colleagues and students by supporting HB 41. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you. All right. Next, Ms. Couture.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Couture. I'm here representing myself. I first want you to please forgive me, as I was not prepared to speak on this topic today. I was totally unaware that this was happening today. I feel strongly about discrimination in any way, shape, or form, and people are discriminated in many ways all the time. My hair today took time to style, as I have kinky curly hair. I chose to wear my hair any given day, depending on the time I have to style it or the mood that I have. My son currently has long hair. He's in college, and he figured this was his chance to have long hair and grow it out, because once he goes into the business world, he'll be respected to have it short. So I support this bill, as no person should be discriminated against because of their hairstyle ever. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. The board is clear. And Representative Newell, I think we'll need to get our quorum back, but you can go ahead and close on your bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members, for your time. Again, the intent behind this bill is to protect all people who have textured natural hair, protect the way the hair grows out of their scalp, and the protective styles they decide to style their hair in. It's not about race, it's not about gender, it's about all people being able to wear their hair in its natural state and being able to wear their hair in protective styles which would protect their hair in its natural state. Again, courts look to the legislative intent behind certain laws when they're making decisions. And I would just like Louisiana to have clarity in their laws, so when our citizens go in front of them, there is no confusion, there's no gray area. The courts know exactly what's in the law. With this testimony, what's the intent of the author behind this law, and that all of our citizens can be treated fairly and equally, no matter how their hair grows naturally out of their scalp, or no matter how they decide to style that hair as it grows out of their scalp, or the way it doesn't grow.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. We do have numerous cards. President will provide information in support of House Bill 41 now by substitute. I'm not going to read all of those cards. Okay. Okay, we have 27 in support, and 2 President will provide information if requested. We also have 34 submissions in support and 1 in opposition on House Bill 41. Representative Jenkins has moved to report House Bill 41 by substitute. Is there any objections to which Representative Amade has objected? Ms. Sanders, would you please call the roll? We are voting on to report House Bill 41 by Representative Newell by substitute. A vote yes is to report her bill as amended by the substitute bill. Okay.
Representative Amade? No. Representative Boyd? Yes. Representative Brown? Yes. Representative Robbie Carter? Yes. Representative Wilford Carter? Yes. Representative Eccles, Representative Emerson, Representative Freeman, no. Representative Garofalo, no. Representative Hodges, no. Representative Jefferson, yes. Representative Jenkins, yes. Representative Johnson, no. Representative Mascarello, yes. Representative Nelson, yes. Representative Seaball, no. 8 yeas, 6 nays.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
With that, House Bill 41 is reported by substitute.